I briefly talked about being depressed and how I think in different low points of my life, like that came back. And the first time that I actually really felt this like darkness and this depression was in high school. And it was a time when our family was just not doing well at all. And my family and we don't really have a lot of normal conversations. And I never grew up like that. I never grew up super close to my parents. I never had a relationship with my brother, my brother in a, I guess, positive way for a while. And because I was so independent and like, it was a lot of just shit going on. And it was easy for me to compute physical pain because I have a high threshold for that and I can withstand that. But the like emotional and mental, just being distraught, and like not knowing how to deal with it and like and because I think unless you've really gone through it, you can't really understand it. But I think people who are watching who have gone through depression will agree with me that it's something that you can't really describe. And it's not just being sad and it's not being angry. It's just, there's this kind of hole. And no matter how happy you want to feel or you are, there's something in the back of your gut or like back of your mind that just this empty feeling and you just can't ever shake it off. And for me, it was easier for me to deal with that physically. And so in high school was when it was the first time that I had ever started cutting myself. And it wasn't, my depression never got so serious that I needed help from an outside source. And like, I needed to go to therapy or I needed to get treated, like it never, I feel like I want to say I had somewhat of a hold that I was able to kind of pull myself out of certain situations. But yeah, I went through that and I remember I would be taking piano lessons. And so I went and, I would always have like my sleeve kind of half on my hands and you always get in trouble when your sleeves are like that. And so I had to pull it back once and the teacher saw, this scars on my wrist. And, I don't think she knew how to respond to that, but she was like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? Like, are you okay? And, I just kind of brushed it off. It's like, oh, I fell like on my arm. Like, don't worry about it. It's not your problem. Don't worry about it. And like, I kind of let that one, slide like that. And there was another time which was at school. I was with my friends and again, I had like long sleeves, but he like put his hands up and I was like, oh, hey, like, and then I gave him a high five and like the sleeve went down and he saw my wrist and he was like, what is that? Like, what did you do? Like, do you need help? Like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, don't worry about it. Like it was a cat. And then we went to gospel choir class and he had told one of our teachers. So then I got called by the counselor in the middle of class and I went and, she was like, this is a safe place. You can talk to me. But I was like, I don't really know you. Like, I wouldn't want to talk to you about it, But I felt like I still had a grasp and I wasn't completely letting go. It was like just a way for me to cope. And so when she asked me, I literally was like, by that time, a lot of it was gone. And it was just like a few scabs left. And so I was like, literally just a cat scratched me. Like, don't worry about it. And, I was able to, get away with that. And I remember her asking me like, should we call your parents? I was like, please don't call my parents. Like, you're just going to cause way more trouble than what it is if you call my parents. And so she ended up not. And, I got over it. I was able to somehow find ways to pull me out of that and not physically harm myself anymore. So there are times when I will still feel like depression here and there because like I said, it's just this weird feeling in the back of your head, in the back of your gut, like in your stomach, it's just there, it lingers. And so even to this day, sometimes when I'm out, like with, so many friends at like whatever, I would still feel sometimes like just this I guess maybe like a gloominess. But it hasn't gotten to a point where I physically have to do something about it in a very long time. But that time in 2008 when I first moved to Korea, those first 3 months when I was like, it was fucking hell for me. There was a moment where I felt I went back to that bad habit, and I was like, wait, like this is. I should not do this anymore. Gotta pull myself together. Let's get through this. And then that's when the fellow teachers at the school, like took me to church, and I made really good friends. And there was just like a good positive vibe that was around me that helped me deal with that. And so ever since then, honestly, I haven't. Thank God that I never felt like I had to go to those measures to like relieve my emotional or psychological pain, even though I've gone through some like deep shit in Korea that would make sense in a way, but I was able to, not think about it in that way. So I feel like I'm much better. So yeah, it's common, I think, for a lot of us to feel this kind of depression, and I just want to let everyone know there, if you really do surround yourself with good people who really genuinely care about you, there is hope, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and we can do better for ourselves, because we do deserve better for ourselves. And that was the deepest talk I've ever had on my show. 똑같은 기분 똑같은 친구